All right. So we do have a quorum. We have Bob Lyons, we have Carrie Schuffner, we have Kendra Wokus, and Dan Ramsey present.
All right, then we have a quorum. I'll call this meeting to order. We do have a quorum, so we can conduct business. Our first item being the minutes of August 8th.
Ramsey will move to approve the minutes.
We have a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second to Dan's motion?
It wasn't here, so I cannot second.
Okay. I can't remember if Carrie was at the last meeting or not.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments, discussion regarding the minutes? Hearing none, those in favor of approving the minutes signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and the minutes of August 8th are approved. Item 2 is Bruce Company Redevelopment Water and Sewer Study.
Right.
Wanna-
Exactly. So it's pretty brief. One of the conditions of rezoning approval for the redevelopment of the Bruce Company was to do a utility capacity analysis. And so Strand completed that with some input that took a while from the fire district, but we finally did get that. And their analysis was that we have sufficient sewer capacity as is, and we will have sufficient water capacity if public roads have a looped 8-inch diameter main, which would be the new roads that go along, the new road that goes along the south side of this development, cuts through the south end of the development, and just relay of a little piece of 6-inch main that's at the south cul-de-sac end of Laura Lane on the west side. But most of it already has 8 or bigger main on sort of 3 sides of the roads through the development. So relatively good news. So this is just here for approval of the letter report for the water and sewer system study, and that'll satisfy that contingency of zoning approval.
All right, committee, questions, comments? Action?
This is Carrie. I will move approval of the letter report of the water and sanitary sewer system study.
We have a second to Carrie's motion.
Ramsey will second. Oh, go ahead.
That's fine. Either one. You beat me to it.
All right, well, we have a motion and a second and a half. Any further discussion on the motion to approve the letter report? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and we don't have to send this anywhere else. Does this go to the council or?
No, this is really just technical analysis for us.
Okay. All right. Next item.
All right. The next item is a CSM for a property on North High Point Road. Most of you will recognize it as the sort of property that has free wood every now and then, sitting along kind of the west side of North High Point Road. And then there's a residence house just to the north of that. And then north of there is sort of that vacant DOT right-of-way land, kitty corner from Capitol Brewery. So this proposal really is to divide this into 2 lots so that the southerly one can be redeveloped.
The southerly one being the one that is outlined there in the shaded part, Sean, where the firewood building is, whatever that.
Right. Yep, exactly. So this is, I think it's Harrington's Tree Service.
Yeah.
Maybe that constantly has wood sort of sitting out curbside for people to take. But yeah, for whatever odd reason, they highlighted this, which was one of my staff comments is let's not do that. But there's nothing earth shaking in the few review notes that I did add.
What's the land directly to the south of that that just says Lambs?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is, tell you the truth. I don't remember.
But it's not part of the proposal, the redevelopment in it.
Well, it's not part of this CSM anyway. Now, I don't know if the owner then is going to combine lot one with this sort of other parcel, if she even controls that other parcel. Because this is a pretty small lot, this lot one.
Well, and just to the south of it is the veterinary museum or veterinary hospital, isn't it?
Well, that's what I can't remember is where their north line is, if that comes
Yeah.
all the way up there or if it sort of stops here.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering when I was looking at the plot, but I just assumed that might be a separate little, I didn't know the area of that. I don't know how to read the area.
I could try to bring up a map if you want.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm
map-
not that concerned. Don't mean,
No, people don't say MapQuest anymore. Google Maps.
What is it zoned for, these two lots? I mean, the one has house. What would be the other, what's lot one zoned for?
I'm not sure myself. I had just asked Mark Opitz if he knew of any questions from a planning zoning perspective, and he said it seems fine for everything they needed to do. But I don't know what the zoning is. It's clearly not used for residential right now. So it must be some sort of commercial.
All right. Any more comments, questions, committee members?
I would move recommendation of approval.
All right, we have a motion from Dan. Is there a second to that motion?
this is Kendra, I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the CSM, I believe. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and we have completed that item of business.
Okay, and I'll write that up to specifically include acceptance of the dedication of road right of way. It's apparently right now just easement, but we'll take that as public then.
Okay,
So the last thing up is review. Oh my God, that's going to be really small. Is review of the other capital request items, the non-road request items. And I have this available in two views. This one, which is, it occurs to me, difficult to read now. And I included that because it had the previous order that we had considered them in, and then now the new order after the past meeting that we can revisit. So I turned them into the finance department in this new order. And there were a couple questions too about the epoxy floor and about the overhead doors at the mock. And I got some more information out of Brad on them. I don't know if there were any questions. Oh, and I need to highlight too, I put it in red, but I had completely forgotten to include the rail crossing repairs, which Wisconsin Southern did a couple of this year for us, and we'll be asking for a couple more in coming years, not next year, but years after that. So I included that in what I turned into the finance department as well.
did you find out anything, Sean, with respect to those overhead doors?
Yeah, Brad did give me some extra information that I had been lacking. So not much happened until 2021, during which year we spent a little less than $20,000 fixing them. And so far this year we spent $10,000 fixing them. I just, for an average number of the past 2 years here, thought it's in the ballpark of 15,000. I don't know if they're going to continually sort of require extensive maintenance like that, or if these were kind of anomalies and, will be good for 5 more years. And it's hard to know that. Because it's
Well,
hard for me to say 2 years is a trend.
These doors have only been in for what, 6 years at this point, roughly?
A little over, I guess. Yeah, we opened in spring of 15, so
That'd be
7
7
years.
Do you know if the repairs that are being made are repeated repairs on the same door, or once it's fixed, does it last?
It's been a couple of them. I had heard that the furthest northwest door that people only go out was the first to fail. And more recently, it's been the door that everybody comes in at the southeast corner. We have 2 outgoing doors and 1 incoming door. And from what I gather, it's really just a problem of heavy cycling. They're just constantly going up and down. Every time a truck wants to come in or go out, the door's open.
And open the door.
Yeah, exactly.
That's,
So it's just asking a lot of a really big door.
so can you slide that over to the right a little bit more? What is the replacement cost for that item?
Oh, sorry. The other right. Yeah. So this was a replacement estimate for all 3 overhead doors, and with a special kind of spring that's made for really high cycle use. So it's a lighter door with a better spring. And
Do you think it's wise to replace all 3 of them at once? Or would it be better to replace one and see how it functions for a while before you do the other 2?
I was a little more prone to that latter tack, just to see like, well, why replace all 3 if it's not going to help a whole heck of a lot? And it might take us years to figure that out. But if
Yeah.
it doesn't solve the problem, then we're just kicking money at it. And I mentioned that to Brad. I don't think he had strong feelings one way or the other, like, this is a sword hanging over my head kind of problem. It's just a frustration when it does happen, because then you don't get to use that door. But I could see replacing the incoming door. That's used virtually every time a truck wants to come in, and seeing if that helps. The only other idea that I had heard was getting a different kind of door entirely, sort of as a secondary door. So at night, these overhead doors would be sort of locked down for security. But during the day, we could put a much lighter duty roll-up kind of door, say on the outside or the inside of the main door, and let that one bounce up and down a lot during the day.
Then you got 2 of them that can fail in each bay.
I kind of always feel that way myself. Every time you get more stuff, there's more to go wrong. So it was an idea.
I think this item ought to be in the list that we are submitting as our priorities, but I would tend to think maybe it would be good to try one and see what the result is of that before we put all 3 of them in, but that's just my opinion.
I would agree with what Bob said. Do we know if, do these doors have warranties with them? Number 1, and number 2, do they have, do they get, is there like a regular maintenance program that you do with them? Like they come out once a year and do maintenance on them?
We did set up a maintenance program. I can't remember which year we did that, but yeah, that I can't remember if it's once a year or twice a year. They come out and take a look at everything, make some adjustments. That hasn't obviously stopped them from failing.
That's not much good.
But they might fail even more often without that too. It's hard to say.
And then, do you have any idea what the warranty on the doors are? Do we get a year, 2 year, 5 years?
I don't know that. So let me find that out. I don't know.
Well, so if we approve this item as it stands, you'd still have the flexibility to do all the doors if the council approves all that money, or some.
Or we can parse it out.
Yeah,
Mhm. Right.
okay. So what did the total of these asks come to for 2023, Sean, down at the bottom?
Let me scroll down to the other view because it's going to be a little bit easier to answer that. So this then just has a very high level summary by title and dollars
Okay.
by year. And that, oh man, it won't let me scroll up that far. I'll bring the window down to it. So it's, $400,000 for everything.
Yeah, 394 and change.
Yeah. And page 22, because man, that's handy. Yeah.
How does that compare to our ask from last year?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me back up. This $140,000 shouldn't be counted in that because it's
Oh, that's
intended to
TIF.
come out of TIF.
Oh.
So 260, let's call it.
That
And then, of
falls more
course-
in average with the other years ahead too.
And this will be partly paid by the counties. So about, boy, what did I say? A quarter of this would be ours to pay for. So we're at 16 or 17 of that 65.
And Sean, did the bridge repairs get moved to the roads budget?
Yes.
Well, it looks eminently reasonable to me, and if I were a council member, I'd vote for it.
Well, you don't get to see everything else that gets turned in though.
Well, I know I don't.
I would be in favor of moving it along as we have it.
Okay. Are you making that as a motion, Dan?
Do we need a motion for it? Because we've already turned it in, haven't we?
I'll have you.
We did. I think the approval was such that I could turn it into the finance department and that you wanted to re-see it because there were so many other changes going on. It was difficult to keep track of live.
Okay.
So we don't need reapproval. No action would be, let's just ride the horse we're on.
Okay,
I'm good with that.
everybody comfortable with that? Kendra?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's where we are then, I guess.
Okay. Well, that is the end of the agenda already then.
We are remarkably efficient this evening.
Nicely done.
I think we're efficient all the time. Some stuff just takes time.
Yeah.
All right. Someone wish to make a motion to adjourn?
Sure, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
This is Kendra, I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Bye.
So opposed signify by saying no. The ayes have it and we stand adjourned. All right, well, thank you for a quick and productive meeting. See you in a couple of weeks, I guess.
Thanks,
Well,
everyone.
I think it might be 3 weeks because we have sort of a 5th week
Oh,
thrown in
that's
this
right.
month.
We've got an extra.
Yes. So September 12th, is that the next?
Yeah. Yep,
September
exactly.
12th. Okay,
All right.
all right, very good.
Thank you, everyone. Good
Great.
night.
So long, everybody.
Everyone.